All right, everyone. I want to take a second to dive into the skill of encouragement because our schools and most of us were raised on praise. And praise is not horrendous, but it's also not very useful. If you ever had an amazing coach, they were able to give you words that helped you improve your performance because it was specific. So instead of good job, it was you did really well. I saw that you and input what you did well so you could build on that skill. So encouragement is where we want to look at what the student or child is doing and then bring out the strength of it to help them be a more active, connected part of the school family, right? That's the whole goal of the Blue Brain. So let's dive on in. So the skill of encouragement is that I'm going to see where you are and I'm actually going to say it. And it's almost going to be like a narrator. So it's going to sound something like this. If I'm walking into a classroom carrying a box and a student rushes in front of me to open the door, instead of saying, thanks, good job, man, right? I'm going to say, wow, Malachi, that was very helpful. You opened the door for me so I could get through. That was helpful. Thank you. That is what we're trying to do. We're going to give them what they did that was solid, that was good, so they can build on it. So he knows by running to open the door, he's going to get positive attention. But let's go ahead and tease out how that positive attention is actually building the strength of the community. In other words, y'all remember what we focus on, we get more of. What we're trying to do is focus on that piece. I love this one right here, that when we judge too often, and we do see this in some of our children. If we say, I love the way Sarah is sitting on the carpet, then you will hear another child over to the left say, but look at me, am I sitting right? Am I right? Am I right? It's almost a desperate plea to look at me. But now what if we said, Sarah is sitting on the carpet with her legs crossed and her hands in her lap. She's looking at me. She's ready. Let me see who else can match Sarah. Now what you've done is you've given tangible expectations for what you want. And then you can acknowledge, yes, Mary, you're sitting with your hands in your lap, looking straight ahead. You're ready. Who else is ready? This is a way that it's stating what your expectations are. All right, let's keep going. So how do we switch? Because look, I like to give teachers sometimes the challenge that instead of giving praise, I want you to encourage 20 times a day. And they're like, what does that even mean? And so if we say, stand by me, or if we say, put the scissors away, and they did it, we could say, you did it, man. You put those scissors away. I know that was hard for you because you wanted to continue to cut. Or put your math books up. We're getting ready for reading. And the student who usually gives you trouble puts their math book up and you say, way to go, Lucas. You put your math book up. I know reading's not your favorite, but way to go, man. I know that was hard. In other words, that's a way to acknowledge what they're doing. You notice I'm not saying it's you did it. Okay. I did notice that to encourage kindful, you opened the door for me. That was so helpful. Encourage those unique strengths. You asked Sarah if she was okay when she was crying. That is showing empathy. These are ways that could help the students understand that they all can contribute to the class. Does it require extra work? Yes, it does. But is it worth it? Yes, it is. Because what we're trying to do is start focusing us, because guess what? We're programmed to focus on the negative. So to focus us on the positive, so we can then focus, the children's focus will go to the positive. Because see, here's the thing. If I'm trying to get your attention and I can do it by being negative, I'm going to do it all day long. It works. But what if The room in the class becomes focused on helpfulness. Can you notice 10 acts of helpfulness each day during the first 6 weeks of school? This will actually start to change your lens. It will rewire your brain. Guess what? You won't be going home at night thinking of all the 20 times the kids made you want to pull your hair out. You're thinking of the 30 times that they showed some really great human qualities. We're going to look for helpfulness, thoughtfulness, kindness, courtesy, taking turns, cooperation. What happens when the adult starts to focus on these? Because of mirror neurons, the kids will slowly start to change. Remember, kindness rewires the brain, not only for you to give it, but for the person receiving it. Now, why is praise bad? It's how we were all raised 100%. But then we do have, and I know a lot of teachers have seen this crazy new, oh, we have anxiety through the roof, but we also have kids who want to be perfect. There's this perfectionism that is, they don't want to make a mistake. You tell them to color a paper and they're like, what do you want? What color should it be? What do I do now? You tell them to write an essay on whatever they want, and they literally need your input because they're so afraid they're going to get it wrong. This is also where we want them, how do I say this? We do not want them to constantly seek approval for us. We want them to be looking, how do I say this? Looking for how to build the classroom community. Can you imagine would it be like if we lived in a community, a society, where instead of all of us were trying to focus on what's best for us, we were literally trying to focus on what's best for us as a whole. We might be a little different out here. And then we also know that praise relies on external rewards, and external rewards drops intrinsic motivation and devalues the relationships. We don't want to take away the human factor of connection. All right, I hope this helps. See you soon.